We thought we had some great players, players like David Brooks, who just hasn't performed this season. Mepham just hasn't performed this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, it really, really didn't work out in terms of getting the best out of what I still believe is a very strong squad.
Yeah, who's going to want David Brooks, really, based on that season?
I actually could not watch it anymore. As you will
Lamps were broken.
It was so frustrating to see.
Sheffield Wednesday, a team that admittedly they had a points deduction, but are going down, did the double over us.
Why didn't we win one of those last 3 games?
The best team over 180 minutes will probably go through.
Yeah.
However, Brentford are bottlers. They've bottled it many times. I haven't got an intro for these actually. Maybe I should get one. Welcome back to another episode of this. It's not really an episode of anything, to be honest. It's just another video of this style of content. Actually, you might want to go a bit closer to the microphone, actually, think about it. Because you speak very quietly. And also lean in when you speak.
Right.
Okay. That's it. Yeah. So today, we're going to be talking about Bournemouth. We've recently finished the championship season. A pretty epic end to the day in terms of relegation.
I mean, how can you win 7 games in a row and then lose 3 in a row without scoring? Even I know they changed the team around and stuff, but yeah, it was just total madness. I don't know what to expect from them anymore. If I even did, that's been the theme of the season, right? Never knowing what to expect on any given game.
Yeah, so we touched on it a little bit when we were talking about the video. We did a video. What on earth is going on with Bournemouth this season? I said we will get playoffs. We will go up. I guess I have to stand by that. We did get playoffs, just about in the end, because we've had 3 losses at the end to Wickham, Brentford, and Stoke.
Yeah, but we'd already secured playoffs.
Of course, we had secured it, but it was a poor end to the season.
It was poor. Yeah,
it was a poor end to the season. I probably didn't word that correctly, but. It's been a weird one because both the teams that went down with us are back automatically. Yeah. Why didn't we do that with one of the best teams in the championship? I had a few comments saying maybe Norwich had the best team in the championship, so I'll concede that. Let's say Norwich have the best team in the championship, then they probably proved that. They got players like Buendia, Cantwell.
It's a good squad. Max Aarons as well. It's obviously quality.
Yeah, they got some great players, and we thought we had some great players. Players like David Brooks, who just hasn't performed this season. Mepham just hasn't performed this season, unfortunately. Great guys, but just they would probably admit themselves they haven't been up to the same standards.
They have admitted it, haven't they? I think Brooks has come out and said that he hasn't been good enough this season. Even some of our more reliable players like Steve Cook, I don't think he believes he's played to the standard he would expect of himself this season.
No, but equally he's still probably one of the best players this season, which shows the standard hasn't been great. I mean, under Tindall, so we at the beginning of the season, for those that don't know, Eddie left on mutual terms. I think every Bournemouth fan was gutted about that. Eddie Howe, I've mentioned it in many videos, the journey he'd been on with us, taking us all the way up to the Premier League, was ridiculous. And I think that he deserves the respect for that. And he'll always be a club legend for sure.
100%, 100%.
For the one of the best people. Me growing up, all pretty much I know is Eddie Howe, and it's incredible to see. I know you've seen a lot more, but so we thought, okay, are we going to have a fresh new start? I think Bournemouth fans were a little bit confused. We hadn't had this situation in a very long time.
Yeah.
Where we needed a new manager, and before, Eddie Howe was a complete fluke, which you said before, in terms of no one expected him to be that good.
No.
And so we brought in Jason Tindall, the assistant manager, and I don't know what your initial impressions were of that. What did you think? Because
I don't know. Maybe they felt he deserved his chance. Maybe it was that short turnaround because there was, previous season ended and we were into the new season pretty quickly, and maybe they thought it was the lowest risk option, but it was. Yeah, it really, really didn't work out in terms of getting the best out of what I still believe is a very strong squad. Yeah, one
of the best teams in the championship, with no doubt about that. Yeah. And we just didn't perform. Tindall, I have a feeling it started off all right. It wasn't amazing.
There was too many games we were not either getting into winning positions and not closing them out, or starting horrendously and having to make multiple subs to even come back into the game.
I think that a big reason, if we analyse it from why it went so wrong, I think that you look at teams like Brentford, you look at teams like Norwich, you look at teams like Watford, and I think everyone that was up there, that is up there, and now at the top of the table, the top 6, didn't have amazing stuff. Everyone was a little bit shaky towards the beginning. There's some weird results, and but as the season progressed, teams found their flow. And got runs together. We never had that. We were consistently iffy, and then it went so badly wrong when we had the run in January.
Yeah,
so bad. We thought it might be because of players' heads not with it because of the January transfer window. We had players that were rumoured to go, but now we have players that like David Brooks that. Who's going to want David Brooks really based on that season?
It's madness to think that we were talking about him as a £70 million footballer when Bournemouth was still in the Premiership. He's obviously nowhere near that right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's really upsetting to see. And so Tindall got the sack. I think that it got to the point where it was probably the right decision. I think that it was sad because he'd been with the club for so long, and it wasn't something, he clearly cared about the club. So I don't think as a manager he just wasn't a good enough football manager, which is the sad reality.
And it was, I actually could not watch it anymore. As you
lamps were broken.
It was so frustrating to see. I said this in the last video, I'm sure, that such a talented group just not get the basics of passing to each other.
Oh yeah,
it was over 5 yards.
It was almost embarrassing.
Yeah,
it really was embarrassingly bad. Mistakes, like
traumatic.
Sheffield Wednesday, a team that admittedly they had a points deduction but are going down, did the double over us.
Yeah,
a team that was going down did the double over us.
Yeah,
and they probably deserved it.
Yeah,
I can't remember the first game, but I think they deserved it. Like the Championship, really anyone can beat anyone. We lost to Wickham. Admittedly, we were already promoted at that point, but teams that are, Rotherham, we drew to, and teams that you look at it like so many. Like if we put in some decent performances against those teams, if we just beat Sheffield Wednesday twice, we might even have had enough, and got a few other results. We probably would enough to gone up automatic.
So here's the thing. So we have actually got a better record against the teams that are higher up in the division, with the exception of Brentford.
Yeah, so it's
so we took 6 points off Norwich.
Yeah, and which is mental because but obviously one of them they were already promoted and they had a red card.
True.
And so we didn't talk about Jonathan Woodgate. He comes in and his record initially we didn't really see a lot of change. Admittedly, you could argue he was trying to decide what he wanted to do with the team, decided his tactics, decide his formation, what every player's job was on the pitch, what his system was. So let's say that's the case. And then we had the awesome run of 7 wins in a row, which we hadn't had. It was almost a club record if we got to 8.
So I think you said at the time, and I was moaning constantly that there was no system, that the players didn't have a system they understood.
Yeah.
And that was all we needed. And I think, to his credit, that's what he's given them. We've got this 4-2-3-1. His player of the season has been talked about multiple times. It is Billing. Putting Billing into that 10 role, he suddenly looks like...
Who thought,
Socrates or someone.
Philip Billing, Lionel Billing, as we like to call him as Bournemouth fans, has just been exceptional because we didn't really know what a midfielder he was before, and he's just been amazing in that sort of number 10 role. And so Woodgate coming in, there was talks of Henri. I know Woodgate has obviously played with Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid. We have a manager that played for Real Madrid.
How's that? It does seem unreal.
But I still stand by the fact, I've said this many, many times, that I believe that, not to discredit what he's done, but I believe that there are many managers that we could have got that would have done just as good as him, if not better.
Which makes the first half of the season look even worse, doesn't it?
So which means I just think Tindall screwed it up so badly. It was really shitty.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was just pure shit a lot of the time. We just couldn't make... as you said, we couldn't make simple passes, and it just emphasises that a manager that hasn't got a great record as a manager can come in and just make us play pretty decent football.
Yeah.
But moving on, because we've talked about a lot of that in previous videos. If you want to go and watch that, I'll leave a little eye either side. I don't know which one it is. And yeah, we finished the season off in 6th, and we've got Brentford over 2 legs. Brentford over 180 minutes. What's your thoughts on that?
Why didn't we win one of those last 3 games and finish 4th or 5th? Because I would have much preferred us playing Barnsley or Swansea. I know you could argue you probably have to beat Brentford at some stage, but they've beaten us twice, and you can't even say we were unlucky in those games. They deserve to beat us. I don't feel that optimistic, if I'm honest with you, coming into these games.
I'm really not feeling that optimistic, because if we couldn't beat Brentford did the double over us. First time we played them, admittedly, I don't think we did play our best football both times we played them, but they were much better than us both times. And ultimately, all I'll say is about this is the best team over 180 minutes will probably go through. So, and however, Brentford's are bottlers. They've bottled it many times. So
not in the semis though.
No. So there you go. And it's more of a, I suppose that's more of a final thing. But it's
we're gonna have to. I can't see us keeping clean sheets in either games against Brentford. I think they've got really good attacking. Obviously, in Ivan Toney, they've got one of the informed strikers in the country, let alone the Championship. So I don't see us keeping clean sheets. I hope we do, obviously, but I don't see that happening. So somehow we've got to get back into that goal scoring form we were in that good run where we were knocking in 2s and 3s and even 4s in some games.
We need
I think to win we're going to have to score like probably 4 or 5 goals across the 2 legs, maybe more.
Fair enough. I think that we need Danjuma. We got Danjuma billing to turn up. So quickly before we sort of wrap it all up. From the season, I want your favourite player and then your player of the season, because I did this on a Cherries Red Army video. I'll put a little eye somewhere. You can go and check that out if you want. But what is your favourite player and your player of the season? I'm assuming there'll be different players.
So it's hard for me to pick out a favourite player, actually. I think...
Who have you loved watching this season?
I think I've loved the way Phil Billings turned into Socrates. You probably don't even remember him.
I know.
Former captain of Brazil.
No, I do know who he is.
And I think Pearson's been a great signing. I do love Jeff, although he had a stinker in the last game, didn't he? I love all those players. I loved seeing Stan and Dom improve. So we talked about players who got worse. Stan and Dom both improved.
Stan's scored a lot of goals.
Obviously, the real excitement and quality has mainly come from the Danjuma, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think that my so what are you going for? Favourite player? Would you say Billing this season?
Yeah, I think so.
And then player of the season, you going with Danjuma as your player?
I would go with Danjuma. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say what I said in the other video. I think our best player this season has been Asmir Begovic.
Yeah, he's certainly been very consistent.
Exceptional this season. Consistently very, very good. And my favourite player is Dominic Solanke. I absolutely love Dominic Solanke. To see how much he's improved. 2 former Chelsea players as well, actually.
That's true.
And it's good to see that he's got a lot of confidence. And if he will do it in the Premier League, well, I mean, if we go up, we'll see. But so... Brentford, it's going to be difficult, very, very difficult, and I want a score prediction, and I'm gonna give you 2 options in terms. I'm going to give you one for your head and one for your heart. So, what do you think will happen? Because personally, if we play like that, I'm not optimistic. So, what do you want to go for? Or do you want me to say first? And you can...
go on then.
Okay, so I'm going to go for first match is going to be a 1-1. For this is my head.
Yeah.
My heart in the first match. So it's going to be a 2-0. Second match, head says 1-1 again, maybe 2-1 to them, and we lose, or goes to extra time and penalties maybe. And heart goes, it'll be maybe like a 2-2 or something, and we go through. What are you going for?
This is my head version. Says we lose the first game 2-1. Like just a poor performance. Then I think we come storming back into it in the second leg. And we're 2-0 up. And so 3-2 on aggregate.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, in the 85th minute, we concede to make it 3-3, and then concede again in the 97th minute for a disappointing, agonising minute.
No! Yeah, I mean, obviously, your heart and probably...
My heart says we win both games 3-0, obviously.
Fair enough. I'm sure that doesn't really matter, actually, thinking about it. But yeah, Brentford fans, if you're watching, or Championship fans, if you're watching, let us know what you think of Bournemouth this season. Brentford fans, leave your score predictions in the comment section. Bournemouth fans, leave your score predictions. Let us know what you think of the season. Hopefully, this will come out just before we play the first leg. We'll have a live reaction, not a live reaction, we'll have a reaction video of whatever happens on the channel at some point, so look out for that. Thanks for watching. Cherries are going to go up, hopefully. And yeah, we'll see you in a bit.
Come on, cherries!
Up the cherries.